Hello, cats and kittens, or Jose Yaroshka. I'm back in the Crisis Corner continuing the Intrepid Promo series. This is a series where I promo or give you a heads up on many of the characters that will be appearing in the Intrepid series, let you know some of their background, how they were developed, perhaps, what role they're going to play in the series, what role they may play on the team if indeed they're on the Intrepid team. This installment will feature Nadia Chavez. Now, if you've been reading the Intrepid series to this point, Heroes and Villains, which just wrapped up a little while ago, I'll leave a link as to where you can pick up your copy of the trade paperback. Nadia Chavez was the focus of that series in as much as she was at once the villain and the victim of that story. She had been abducted along with Joseph Paxton and experimented on and infected with a living biotech, which is now grafted to her, and apparently it's not coming off anytime soon. That's another story for another day. Or you could just read Heroes and Villains and be done with it. Anyway, so that's where she is right now. Now, what role outside of Heroes and Villains will she play in the series? Nadia has a long story arc ahead of her. The team is being formed as we go along in the story right now. There's no team called Intrepid currently as we speak, but we've met the principal players. Clearly, Vincent, Keith, Annabella, and Paxton will be the core members of their unit. Eventually, and I say eventually because it's not going to happen immediately, Nadia will be added to that core. Exactly when is not a point of saying right now, but she will be. What role will she play on the team when she does arrive? As we've seen, and a lot of setups been done in Heroes and Villains, she is the strongest physical member of the crew, or will be the strongest physical member of the crew. Therefore, she is the top talent in terms of ability, physical ability on the team. In the Heroes and Villains series, she fought basically she decimated the Mexican National Guard. She decimated the Golden Brigade, which is the superheroes of Mexico. She took out a few of them, unfortunately. Not her fault, but she took them out, and she's pretty much proved that she's a match for any member of the Intrepid unit, the soon to be called Intrepid unit. So, by virtue of Heroes and Villains, you would say that she is the top talent, the most dangerous member. Well, I say the most powerful member of that crew, the most dangerous. I'm gonna get into that later, but anyway. So, in terms of her her role on the team, whereas I would say Paxton is, if you want to use a Star Trek analogy, which I want to do every once in a while, Paxton would equate to Kirk. Bella would equate to Scotty / Spot. I would say Keith. You'd basically, I guess you'd have to say Worf if you want to go next generation. Vincent is Vincent. He's just what he is. Yeah, don't worry about Vincent. But uh, you would basically have to say Keith and Nadia are like a two-headed wolf. Uh, and again, going back to Heroes and Villains, their fight in issue 6 was a double. It was a double splash page, basically spread, but it pretty much tells you that these two they can wreck. I mean, if they get into it, it's gonna be nasty. I would give Nadia the edge on in that fight because of her skill set, but they are the two top dogs on the team. If you're just going to get into a fight, those are the two that you would line up behind. And in terms of their character, it kind of sets up that they would be rivals. Now, if you want to use a One Piece analogy, I would say Zoro and Sanji, kind of on that level. They they bicker a bit, but they're rivals in terms of beatdowns. Who's the toughest, basically? So you have that dynamic. I'd like to look at her. I'm going to read you off some stuff from her. I do the data book type deal, the Intrepid data book entries. Name Nadia Maria Chavez. That's her name. 24 years old, basically. So she's like a year younger than Paxton. 5'4", somewhere around 120 something pounds. Personality, outgoing, impulsive, ultra competitive. That fits in with Keith. She's from Texas, Lukenbach, Texas. Why Lukenbach, Texas? Well, I infuse my likes into characters in various series and various characters. I'm a huge country fan. Waylon Jennings specifically, and then from there you get it Lukenbach, Texas. Waylon and Willie and the boys, or Willie and Waylon and the boys. Hank Williams playing songs, Blueberry Train songs, Blue Eyes Crying in the Rain, all that. So she's a huge country music fan. She's a Texican. She's like the embodiment of Texas, you know what I mean? Which is interesting because Paxton is from DC. All right, he's a huge Redskins fan. She's a huge Cowboys fan. They are thick as thieves. The two are like siblings. They're like brother and sister, but they're Cowboy and Redskins fans, so they have that rivalry. So I just put that out there right now. I like doing that. I like setting up sports rivalries within the books. Okay, so we got that. She's a huge country music fan, old school country though, not that new stuff. I'm talking about outlaw, old school country, real country. Let's just be serious about that. Okay, personality, I did that. Food, she's from Texas, so steak and various barbecue foods. She hates boiled foods of any sort. Favorite drink, whiskey. Least favorite drink, any type of soda. Desired opponent would be Keith. And Tragicon, but I'm not going to get into that right now. Catchphrase, if it ain't right, it ain't, if it ain't rough, it ain't right. That's her. Hobby, favorite hobby is playing country music. First appearance, Intrepid issue 3. Technically, it's Intrepid issue 2. Now, another interesting thing. Intrepid takes place in what we call the second wave universe, if you've seen any of the other promos. For the last 40 years in the SWU, there have been no heroes active, at least not recognized by the government, due to the Black Monday, which I'm not getting into right now. In that span, in that 40-year span, is what we call the Age of Guardians. And there's an agency called Guardian, which Nadia, Paxton, and a guy named Derek Strong were the poster children for. They were basically rock stars for this agency, which is a fugitive retrieval agency. So theoretically speaking, if Magneto was on the loose, there are no X-Men. They're not in existence. Who takes them down? Guardian, basically fugitive retrieval, would be sent in to take them down. And they were good at what they did, and they caught all the Magnetos and all of those guys. It took a whole lot of work and a whole lot of people at times, got, done in, which goes into the barrel sanction. Barrel sanction is actually a barrel sanction. If you put a barrel sanction on Magneto, it says basically this fugitive retrieval unit has the permission of the government to take that guy down, and any collateral damage in terms of human lives is waived. stuff has changed anyway. So it's a little bit rougher. What we're doing is we're going from the dark and gritty to the light. We're working reverse. Heroes will come back, and we're going to eventually, hopefully, get rid of the burial sanction, but we're coming from a dark place into the light. But Paxton, Nadia, and their former team, the Brad Pack, which is basically Charlie Company, Fugitive Retrieval, Charlie Company, were part of that darkness. Now they have to adapt to being heroes, which they will be eventually. So there's that. But that should give you a bit of a clue as to who you're dealing with when you're talking about Nadia Maria Chavez, 86, at some point in the relatively near future.
Been drilled, been chilled, been laid mentally ill, but she's a liar.
But until then, that's it from the Crisis Corner. Until next time, stay loose.